Hey everyone, I made some pork shanks last weekend and it came out so well, I want to actually share immediately how I did it. This is a recipe I just came up from my cooking knowledge and I didn't refer to anything else, and I was glad I was able to develop this skill during the pandemic. Before we start, apparently a lot of my viewers still aren't subscribed, so if you've been enjoying my cooking content, leave a like and subscribe, it does help. First, we're going to chop up our veggies. I have some onions and carrots, so I decided to go with those since they make a great base for braising. Here's how I like to dice up my carrots. I cut them in half, then into rectangular slabs, into sticks, and then finally into cubes. If you have a better way of doing this, feel free to use it. This is just the way I use it. I don't even know if it's the most efficient. It just works for me. Once the carrots are done, we're going to mince up around, I would say, 4 to 5 garlic cloves. I got my pork shanks right here that I salted overnight in the fridge. You definitely don't have to do that and just salt it the day you cook it, but it does season the meat internally better. I cracked some black pepper on the shanks and just going to rub some olive oil on it. And since my shanks aren't even, I'm not going to sear them in my Dutch oven, but rather broil it in the oven. Works just as well. This is what your shanks should look like after they're done. Remove them to the side, grab some water, put them into the pan and scrape off any brown bits on the pan and then reserve that as well. Don't want to be wasting anything. This is all flavor right here, so use up everything you can. Here I have around 1/4 cup of water and I'm going to add around a tablespoon of unflavored gelatin into it. This will help add more body to our braising liquid, which will help enhance the final product, and it's such a minimal step. Make sure to mix it all. As we heat up some oil in a Dutch oven, I'm going to preheat my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and now we're going to sweat our onions and carrots until the onions are more or less translucent. Remember to add some salt and black pepper as well. The salt helps draw out some of the moisture from the onions, and this will help caramelize them more. Once your onions look like this, then we can add in our garlic, and then we can add in around 2 tablespoons of tomato paste as well. Stir everything together as we want to cook out the tomato paste a bit to mellow it out. After I would say 1 to 2 minutes have passed, I'm going to deglaze with around, I would say 1/2 cup of white wine. I ain't gonna front. I usually don't measure the amount for liquids at least. I usually just eyeball it because in the end, when you're braising something, it doesn't matter too much unless you OD on it. I'm going to cook out the alcohol from the white wine first before adding in my chicken stock. Now this is whatever was left over in the box and it's probably not enough. It's fine though, because we'll determine how much we really need when we add in our pork shanks again later. Don't forget to add in your gelatin, give everything a good mix, and once everything is well incorporated again and starts to simmer a bit, we can add in our pork shanks again. Don't forget to add in the leftover juice as well. You don't want to be wasting any of that. Now that everything is in there, I'm going to add in chicken stock until pretty much it's almost halfway covering the pork shanks, and that should be enough. Oh, by the way, here's a cool trick I learned for leftover tomato paste. You can cap the top lid and then use your can opener to open the bottom lid. Once it's open, push it up kind of like a push pop, and now you can store it in your freezer. Whenever you need some tomato paste again, let it defrost a bit, push the bottom until you have the amount you need, and then recap it again. Alright, back to cooking. I'm going to also add in 2 bay leaves and some rosemary as well before putting the lid on my Dutch oven and sticking it in the oven for 1.5 hours. After 1.5 hours, I took it out of the oven and poked the shanks with a fork to see if they're ready. It seems to be almost there, but I would say another ½ an hour will be good. You're going to have to determine that based on your oven, but I'd say like 1.5 to 2 hours is a good starting point. Fast forward a bit and I think the pork is tender enough. Pretty much falls apart from the bone, but you can still grip it with some tongs with not too much issue. I'm going to transfer these shanks to a separate plate while we finish up on our sauce. Fish out the rosemary stem and bay leaves before you continue. Alright, time to incorporate what I do for python stocks into this. So you see there's a layer of fat on top, but it's not too significant. If you feel like it's too much, just scoop out what you think until you feel like it's okay. I'm going to use the stick blender to emulsify the fat and blend some of the carrots and onions back into the sauce. This pretty much makes a thick gravy that you'll be able to coat your pork shanks with, and ugh. I know this sounds like a lot of work, but trust me, it's worth it. It should be nice and creamy by the time you're done, and now you can taste for final seasoning to adjust for salt levels. I'm also going to let it boil and reduce a bit so the sauce is a little bit more thick. While that's occurring, let's shred our pork, chop some parsley, and make some delicious gremolata. So take your pork you took out before, and it should be tender enough to just shred apart. I use some tongs and some forks as well, and it's up to you how fine you want to shred your pork, so have at it. Don't forget to save the bones as well, because you can make some stock with it. You already paid for it, so why waste it? Now for our parsley. We're going to mince it up like we normally do, but only take half of it and leave the other half on the cutting board. Now for our gremolata. A gremolata is a parsley topping that's made with mincing up some parsley, grating some garlic, and lemon zest. Sounds simple, right? Well, let me tell you this. Personally, this topic is bomb. It's perfect for this rich pork shank, and I don't know why, it just goes so well with it. So once you finish grating the garlic and the lemon zest, I'm going to mince it up just a bit finer, and I'm going to start folding it with my bench scraper. And there you go, just like that, you have some gremolata. Finally, back to our pork shanks, add in your shredded pork, give it a good mix, add in some parsley, and voila, it's all finished. Now you can serve it with whatever you like. In my case, all I had was plain white rice and was already mad good with this. Grab a ladleful of the pork and gravy, put some gremolata on top, and bam, a delicious, rich, hearty meal. And there you have it, some braised pork shanks. This definitely takes some time, but it's perfect for a lazy day where you have nothing better to do. Pretty much me on a Sunday. Hope you all give this a try, and let me know how you think. Hey everyone, thanks for watching my video, and if you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe and follow my Instagram at Weekend Cooks. Thanks for the support.